I remember the exact moment my life cracked open. It was a short message on my phone, just 5 words, "I need some space, okay?" I stared at it and whispered, "Adrian, what are you talking about?" My hands shook so hard I nearly dropped the phone. I typed, "Call me. Please." No answer. I tried again, saying, "At least tell me what's wrong." Nothing. The silence felt like someone pressing a blade to my chest. "I trusted you," I whispered to myself as I paced my room. "I told you everything. Why would you do this to me?" The room felt too small, like it was closing in around me. I kept checking my phone, hoping his name would flash on the screen. It never did. Hours later, Sarah knocked on my door. "You look pale," she said. "Are you sick?" "No," I said. "I'm fine." "You don't look fine." I said I'm okay, I snapped before lowering my voice. "Sorry. I just need air." She watched me, confused, but didn't push further. I walked past her and muttered, "I just need a minute." I kept telling myself Adrian would come back. "He loves me," I said under my breath. "He wouldn't disappear like this." But he did. We'd been together for years in the shadows, whispering promises in dark hallways, laughing quietly in hidden corners, pretending the world couldn't see us. Now it felt like none of that had ever mattered to him. 3 days later, the truth punched me in the gut. I was scrolling through my feed, trying not to think about him, when I saw the picture. Adrian stood next to Jonas, smiling under bright lights at some expensive gala. His hand rested on Jonas's back like it belonged there. They looked perfect, like some polished couple in a magazine. "No," I muttered. "No, no, no." My chest tightened. He told me he was traveling. He said he'd be gone all week. I felt my knees weaken, so I grabbed the edge of the table. Why would he lie? Why show up with Jonas like I never existed? My phone buzzed. Sarah again. "Where are you? You missed our meeting." "I'm coming," I said, but my voice trembled. When I got to work, she pulled me aside. "You look like you haven't slept," she said softly. "Talk to me." "There's nothing to talk about." She tried again. "You're shaking." I said I'm fine, I whispered, even though we both knew I wasn't. That night I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. "Why did you smile like that, Adrian?" I whispered. "Why did you act like we were nothing?" My pillow was damp, and my throat burned. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that picture again. Him. Jonas. That smile. Days dragged by. I forced myself to wake up, dress up, and pretend I wasn't falling apart. "Just breathe," I told myself every morning. "Just get through today." My hands wouldn't stop trembling, and sometimes I had to sit in the bathroom at work just to keep myself from breaking down. One evening, I walked home and passed the cafe where Adrian and I used to sit in the back corner. We'd talk for hours about dreams we were too scared to say aloud. I stopped in front of the door, staring through the glass. The tables were filled with strangers laughing, unaware that the room behind them held the ghost of my happiest memories. "Don't cry," I whispered. "Not here." I turned away before the tears could fall. As I walked, I kept repeating, "You'll survive this. You have to survive this." But each word felt hollow, like it didn't belong to me. I didn't know the full truth then. I didn't know what was happening behind the scenes or why Adrian had thrown me away so suddenly. All I knew was the pain, and it felt deadly, like a wound that kept bleeding no matter how tightly I tried to hold myself together. Hours later, when I finally reached my room and collapsed onto the bed, my phone buzzed with a message. I expected it to be Sarah, but the name on the screen froze me. Mara. Her message said, "Are you okay?" Just that. Simple. Unexpected. Unsettling. "Mara?" I whispered. "Why now?" My fingers hovered above the screen. I didn't know what to say. I didn't even know if I wanted her back in my life. But the truth was, I felt so alone that her message felt like a lifeline thrown into dark water. I typed, "I'm not okay." Then I erased it. I typed again, "Why are you texting me?" I deleted that too. Finally, I just stared at the blinking cursor and whispered, "What do you want from me now?" The phone stayed silent, but her message stayed there, waiting, like a door I wasn't ready to open. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't just hurt. I was completely lost. I spent the days after Adrian disappeared feeling like every hour scraped something raw inside me. When my phone buzzed, I jumped, whispering, "Please be him," even though I knew it wouldn't be. I kept opening our old chat, staring at the unread messages I sent him. Can we talk? Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? Each message felt like a bruise on my screen. I even tried calling once more, but the call died before it rang twice. Fine, I muttered to myself. If you don't want me, I'm not going to beg. But I didn't believe that. Not even a little. One night, I put his gifts into a small box. The bracelet he gave me. The notes he used to write. A picture of us laughing, faces close but never touching. I whispered, I can't look at this anymore. Even then, I kept the box on my desk instead of throwing it away. The next morning, I forced myself to return it to him. I walked to his building, stood at the gate, and told the guard, just give this to Adrian. He nodded, and I walked off fast before I lost my nerve. At work, Sarah kept watching me with that worried look. You're pale, she said as soon as I walked in. Are you sick? I shook my head. Just tired. She frowned. You said that yesterday. I forced a smile. Then I'm still tired. She followed me to the break room during lunch. Elias, talk to me, she said softly. I stared at my coffee. There's nothing to say. She sighed. It's Adrian, isn't it? I froze, then whispered, can we not do this here? She nodded immediately. Okay. But I'm here, all right? I nodded, even though I didn't know what to do with her kindness. After work, I walked past the little cafe Adrian and I used to sit in. The warm lights inside pulled at me like a memory trying to drag me backward. I heard his voice in my head, let's order the same thing. We always do. I stopped at the door, hand halfway to the handle. My chest tightened. Not today, I whispered and stepped away before anyone inside noticed me. The cold air felt heavy on my face, and I kept my head down as I walked home, swallowing tears I didn't want to let fall. The world felt blurry those days. I moved through it like a ghost watching a life I barely recognized. People talked to me, but their voices sounded distant. I kept telling myself, it'll get better, but I didn't believe it. Nights were the worst. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Adrian laughing with Jonas at that gala. I'd whisper, why him? Into the dark, hoping the silence would answer. It never did. I reread our old conversations until my eyes hurt, then deleted them, then regretted deleting them. Why am I like this? I whispered into the empty room. One evening, while I sat on the floor beside my bed, my phone buzzed. I expected another pointless notification, but it wasn't. It was a text from a number I hadn't seen in months. Elias? Are you okay? It was Mara. My breath caught. I typed, I'm fine, but she replied instantly, you're lying. Adrian messed up, didn't he? I stared at the screen, unsure how she knew. It's complicated, I typed. She answered, I know my brother. He runs when he panics. I didn't know what to say to that. She sent another message, just tell me you're taking care of yourself. I didn't know how to answer. I leaned back against the wall and stared at her words. I whispered, why now, Mara? It felt strange hearing from her after so long. I typed, I'm trying to move on. She replied, good. But you shouldn't do it alone. I didn't know if I believed her, but her message cracked through the numbness I'd been living in. I didn't tell her everything, but I told her enough. He said he needed space, I wrote. She responded, then he's hiding something. My heart thudded painfully. Like what? I asked. She only replied, I'll check on you again. Don't disappear. As I set my phone down, I whispered, take care of myself how? The days still felt heavy. The memories still clawed at me. But Mara's message stayed in my mind. Maybe I wasn't as alone as I thought. Maybe someone still cared enough to ask the questions Adrian wouldn't answer. I pulled my knees to my chest and let out a slow breath. I'll survive, I murmured, even though I wasn't sure I believed it yet. But for the first time in days, the words didn't feel completely hopeless. They felt like a small promise I might someday be able to keep. I stood up slowly, feeling the weight in my chest shift a little. Maybe I can try again tomorrow, I whispered as I turned off the light. The room stayed quiet, but it didn't feel as cruel. Maybe someone out there still cared enough to reach out and remind me I wasn't alone in this world. I never planned to spend Christmas with anyone. I told myself I'd stay in my room, order cheap takeout, and pretend the holiday didn't exist. I didn't want lights, music, or people asking me how I was holding up. I just wanted silence. I wanted a world where Adrian's name didn't echo in every corner of my mind. But then my phone buzzed. It was Mara. Her message said, "Come to the Hale house. Please. Adrian needs to explain." I stared at the screen and whispered, "No, not this. Not now." My stomach tightened. My hands shook so badly I had to set the phone on the table. Why would he want to see me? Why now? The phone buzzed again. "Please answer me," she wrote. I stepped back like the message could burn me. "Why are you doing this, Mara? Why drag me back into something I barely survived?" I typed, "I'm not coming." Then I erased it. I typed again, "I don't want to see him." I deleted that too. I couldn't send anything. Even my breath felt stuck in my chest. A third message appeared. "He doesn't want to see you. His parents are forcing him to talk. They want the truth." I froze. "What truth?" I whispered. "What are they making him say?" My phone buzzed again before I could think. He kept too many secrets. They pushed him. Now he has to explain everything tonight. I whispered, "Everything about me?" My pulse hammered in my ears. I sat down and held my head. No. No way. I can't walk into that house. I can't listen to him talk about me like I was some mistake. The phone rang this time. It was Mara calling. I answered with a shaky, "Why are you doing this to me?" She didn't waste a second. "You need to be here," she said. "You deserve to hear what he hid from you." "I don't need anything from him," I said. "I'm not walking into some family drama. I'm not ruining their Christmas." "You're not ruining anything," she said. "They already know something's wrong. They just don't know you exist." I closed my eyes. Great. Even better. That makes me feel so much safer. "Milo," she said firmly, "stop running." "I'm not running," I snapped. "I'm protecting myself." "You're scared," she said. "And you have every right to be. But he hurt you. And he owes you the truth." "I don't want his truth. I want him gone from my life." "You don't mean that." I let out a humorless laugh. "Don't I?" She lowered her voice. "He's falling apart. His mother cornered him tonight and demanded answers. His father won't let him leave. He's trapped in there, and he keeps saying he can't talk. That's why I texted you." "And what?" I said. "You want me to walk into the Hale mansion like I'm supposed to save him from his own lies?" "You're not going for him," she said. "You're going for yourself." I swallowed hard. "I don't know if I can look at him." "You won't get another chance," she said. "Not like this." I stayed silent. She waited. Finally, she said, "Milo, he's breaking. And he keeps looking at the door like he's waiting for you to walk in." My chest twisted. "Don't say things like that." "It's the truth." It didn't matter. I didn't trust any of it. I didn't trust Adrian's tears, his apologies, his secrets, his smile in that picture with Jonas. I didn't trust my own heart either. Every time I thought of him, the hurt rose like a wave trying to drown me. "I can't do this," I whispered. "Not again." "You can," she said softly. "You're stronger than you think." I stood and walked toward my window, staring at the street lights glowing against the cold December sky. I wanted this Christmas to be quiet. "And what?" she asked. "You were going to spend it alone in the dark." "Yes," I said. "That was the plan." "That's not living," she whispered. "That's hiding." I turned away from the window. "Why do you care?" "Because someone has to." I sank onto my bed and rubbed my face. "If I go," I said slowly, "and he hurts me again, I won't recover." She didn't hesitate. "I won't let him hurt you." "You can't control him," I said. "No," she admitted. "But I can stand with you." My throat tightened. "I don't know if I'm ready to hear his voice." "You don't have to be ready," she said. "You just have to show up." I stared at the floor. "What if I fall apart in front of everyone?" "Then fall," she said. "You've been holding everything in for too long." I laughed weakly. "You make it sound so simple." "It isn't," she said. "But staying silent will destroy you." I didn't answer. My heartbeat pounded against my ribs. I could almost see the Hale house in my mind, tall, cold, elegant. Adrian standing somewhere inside with his family pressing him for answers he never wanted to give. "Mara," I whispered, "tell me one thing." "Yes?" "Why now? Why Christmas?" "Because this family only tells the truth when they're trapped together," she said. "And tonight, no one can leave." I exhaled slowly. So I'm walking into a storm. You've already survived worse, she said. I stood up. My legs felt weak, but I didn't sit back down. Fine, I said. I'll go. She sighed with relief. Thank you. But listen, I added, grabbing my coat. I'm not going for him. Good, she said. Go for you. I slipped my arms into the sleeves and zipped it up. My hands still shook, but this time I didn't stop them. I just want answers, I whispered. And you'll get them, she said. I'll meet you outside the gate. Okay, I said. When the call ended, I grabbed my keys, opened the door, and stepped into the cold night air. I wasn't ready. But I went anyway. Mrs. Hale's eyes sharpen as she looks at Mara. Confess what? She snaps. What exactly is going on here? Mara leans forward. Mom, stop pretending you don't see it. Adrian has been acting weird for weeks. And now he looks like he hasn't slept in days. Mr. Hale sighs loudly. Mara, don't start drama at the dinner table. It's not drama, Mara fires back. It's the truth. I stay quiet, even though the silence scrapes at my lungs. My mind keeps replaying the moment I saw Adrian at the top of the stairs, the way his red eyes locked on mine and then immediately looked away, like my presence burned. Mrs. Hale turns her attention to me again. Why did you come here tonight? What exactly are you trying to do? Her voice is sharp, almost accusing. I swallow hard. I just came because Mara asked me to, I say. Nothing else. Adrian shifts in his seat, fists tight against his knees. Just, leave him alone, he mutters. Mrs. Hale's head snaps toward him. Excuse me? Adrian's jaw clenches. I said leave him alone. Everyone freezes. I feel my heart slam against my ribs, because this is the first time Adrian has actually spoken in my defense since I walked through the door. Mara narrows her eyes at him. Adrian, just tell them. Stop making this harder. He shakes his head quickly. Not now. Mara slams her hand on the table. Then when? Because he showed up, and you look like you're going to fall apart. Mr. Hale glares at her. That's enough. But Mara doesn't back down. No, it's not. You don't see him. You don't listen. You never do. Mrs. Hale crosses her arms. Mara, if you have something to say, just say it. All this whispering and hinting is childish. Mara looks at Adrian, her voice softer. He needs to say it, not me. Adrian stays silent, his head down. I watch his shoulders tremble the slightest bit. It's almost invisible, but I see it. I always see it. It hits me like a punch that part of me still knows him better than everyone else in this house. Mrs. Hale taps her fingers on the table. This is ridiculous. I finally speak, because I can't take the pressure building in my chest. Look, if my being here makes things worse, I can leave. No. Mara says instantly. Yes, Mrs. Hale snaps. Adrian whispers, please don't. Three voices clash at once, but it's Adrian's that hooks into me hardest. He still won't lift his head, but the desperation in his voice pulls me back into the years I've spent trying to understand him. Mara stares at him. There. You hear that? He doesn't want him to go. So maybe we should all stop pretending this is normal. Mr. Hale sighs again, rubbing his temples. Mara, you're making this a bigger mess than it needs to be. Because you never listen, she yells. You never notice anything unless it fits your perfect picture. Mrs. Hale straightens. Watch your tone. Why? Mara demands. Because the truth makes you uncomfortable. The room fills with heat, sharp, suffocating heat. I feel like I'm sitting in the middle of someone else's storm, even though a part of me knows I caused it just by walking in. I don't understand what any of this has to do with him, Mrs. Hale says, pointing at me like I'm an unwanted object on her table. It has everything to do with him, Mara says quietly. Adrian finally looks up. His eyes meet mine for the first time since I arrived, and something inside me breaks open. His voice is soft, rough, trembling. I didn't think you'd come. I said I would, I whisper. He closes his eyes, like my words hurt more than they should. Mrs. Hale looks between us, suspicion growing. Adrian, what aren't you telling us? His breathing becomes uneven. Not now, he says again, gripping the edge of the table. Adrian, Mara says gently. Stop running. He shakes his head violently. I'm not. You are, she interrupts. You have been for a long time. The table goes silent again. My chest tightens so much I feel dizzy. Finally, Adrian speaks, voice breaking around the edges. I can't do this with everyone staring at me. Mrs. Hale frowns. Do what? Adrian looks at me again, longer this time, deeper, like he's begging me to understand something he can't say out loud. But he still doesn't speak. He just whispers, please don't leave. And those words anchor me in place, even though everything inside me is spinning with confusion and hope tangled together tightly. I stay seated, whispering, I'm here. His shoulders drop, just a little. Enough for me to see the truth he's trying so hard to hide. Enough to feel something shift under my skin. The room stays tense, thick with unspoken words, but Adrian finally breathes a little easier, like my staying gives him the strength he needs to face whatever comes next. I didn't want to do this, Adrian said, voice shaking as he stood at the end of the long table. But I have to. Mrs. Hale folded her arms. Then speak. We are all waiting. My chest tightened. I could hear my own heartbeat. I whispered, just say it, Adrian. He glanced at me, eyes red. Jonas blackmailed me. Mara gasped. Mr. Hale muttered, what nonsense is this now? It's true, Adrian said. He threatened to crush the partnership deal if I stayed with him. I felt the words land like punches. So you left me for a business deal? Adrian's voice cracked. I panicked. Panic doesn't destroy years, I said. Choices do. Mrs. Hale slammed her hand on the table. You broke his heart because you were afraid of losing money? Adrian flinched. I thought I could fix things later. I laughed weakly. Fix? You vanished. You sent one text. You let me think I did something wrong. Mara stepped toward him. Why didn't you come to us? Why didn't you fight back? I was scared, Adrian said. Jonas knows things. He used them. He cornered me. I stared at him. So you sacrificed me. His eyes filled fast. I thought I could protect you. By abandoning me? I said. That's not protection. That's betrayal. Mr. Hale pointed at him. You are a coward, Adrian. A pathetic one. Adrian closed his eyes. I know. I felt heat rush up my throat. Do you know what those nights were like for me? Do you know how I kept checking my phone? Do you know how it felt to see you with Jonas smiling as if I was nothing? Adrian stepped forward. I wasn't smiling at him. It was fake. It looked real enough, I snapped. Mara whispered, you should have told him. I wanted to, Adrian said. He doesn't deserve this pain. I shook my head. I don't deserve any of this. Mrs. Hale sighed. You owe him more than an apology. I know, Adrian whispered. I owe him the truth. I stared at my trembling hands. The truth is too late. Adrian reached out. Please don't leave like this. I stepped back. I can't breathe in here. Mr. Hale nodded. Let him go. You lost the right to hold him here. Adrian's voice broke completely. Please, I still love you. The words hit something raw inside me. Love isn't something you throw away when it gets hard. I was wrong, he said. I was weak. You chose ambition over me, I said softly. That's all I needed to hear. Mara grabbed my arm gently. Please, don't go without letting yourself feel everything. He's confessing because he's drowning. I'm drowning too, I whispered. Adrian stepped closer again. Let me explain more. Let me tell you everything Jonas threatened to do. I don't care, I said. Because you already did the worst thing yourself. He collapsed into the chair behind him. I ruined everything. Mrs. Hale looked at me with soft eyes. You didn't deserve this. Not any of it. I swallowed hard. I can't stay. Adrian shot up. Please. No, I said. I need air. I need space. I need to be somewhere that doesn't remind me of what you chose. Mara whispered my name, but her voice sounded far away. I backed up toward the door, breath shaking. I came for closure. I got it. Adrian took one desperate step. I'll fix it. I'll end every deal. I'll ruin Jonas. I'll do whatever it takes. I shook my head. You can't undo what you did to me. He wiped at his face. I can try. You didn't try when it mattered, I said. Now it's too heavy. Mrs. Hale glared at him. Let him leave. You caused this. Mr. Hale added, consider this the consequence of your cowardice. I opened the door. Cold air hit my face, but it felt easier to breathe. Adrian whispered behind me, please don't walk away from me again. I didn't turn around. You walked away first. Then I stepped out into the night, my chest tight, my eyes burning, my heart struggling to understand how love could hurt this much. As I reached the steps, I heard the door open again. Adrian called out, "Will you ever forgive me?" I paused. Forgiveness isn't something you demand. It's something you earn. Then tell me how, he said. I don't know, I said. Right now, every part of me hurts when I hear your voice. Mara stood beside him. He's sorry. Truly. That doesn't erase anything, I whispered. Mrs. Hale called from inside, "Let him be, Adrian." He ignored her. "Just tell me if you hate me." "I don't hate you. I hate what you did." He stepped forward, then froze. "I wish I could go back." "You can't," I said. "And I can't keep bleeding for someone who didn't choose me." "I choose you now," he whispered. "It's too late," I said. "I need to save myself this time." Then I walked down the steps, feeling every word echo inside me. I kept walking. The cold hit me the second I stepped outside, but I barely felt it. My breath came out in sharp bursts, and I pressed a hand to my chest, trying to steady myself. "I can't breathe," I whispered. "I just can't." Mara's footsteps crunched in the snow behind me. "Hey," she said softly, almost afraid to touch me. "Don't run from me too." "I'm not running," I said, even though it sounded like a lie. "I just needed air." "You needed peace," she corrected. "And after what he said in there, you deserve all the peace in the world." I let out a shaky laugh. "Peace? I don't even know what that feels like anymore." She stepped closer. "You didn't deserve any of this, you know that, right? Then why does it feel like I somehow did?" I asked. "Like I missed something obvious. Like I should have known." "Because you loved him," she said. "That's all. Love makes people blame themselves for things they never caused." My phone buzzed in my pocket. I almost ignored it, but the second buzz told me someone was persistent. I pulled it out and saw Sarah's name. I answered. "Hey. Are you okay?" she asked immediately. "You left work early, and you looked pale, and I didn't know if—" "I'm fine," I lied. I hated how easy lying had become. "You don't sound fine," she said. "Do you want me to come get you?" "No," I said quickly. "I'm with people." "With people?" she repeated. "Good or bad people?" I almost smiled. "Both." She sighed. "Just text me when you get home. Please." "I will." I hung up before my voice cracked. Another buzz. This time, a text from Reed. "You want me to pick you up? I'm close." I stared at the message, and something inside me softened, just a little. Maybe I wasn't as alone as I kept convincing myself. "You okay?" Mara asked quietly. "I don't know," I said. Reed asked if he should come. "He cares," she said. "More than you think." "I don't have space for anything right now," I murmured. "And that's fine," she replied. "You don't owe anyone emotional labor tonight." I looked up at the Hale Mansion windows glowing behind us. "I shouldn't have come here." "Yes, you should have," Mara insisted. "You deserve to hear the truth. Not rumors. Not guesses. Not silence." Before I could answer, the front door opened again. Adrian stepped outside, arms wrapped around himself like the cold finally got to him. I froze. "Mara," he said, voice cracking. Can I talk to him alone?" She looked at me. I gave a tiny nod, barely a millimeter. She squeezed my arm once before walking away. Adrian stepped closer. "Please don't leave yet." "I'm already gone," I said. "You just caught me before the car." He flinched. "I know I hurt you. I know I ruined everything. I know I don't deserve to ask you for anything, but, please, just listen." "Fine," I said. "Talk." He swallowed hard. "Jonas lied to me. He said he'd destroy the Hale project if I stayed with you. He showed me fake emails, fake reports, stuff that made it look like you were dangerous for my name." My stomach twisted. "And you believed him?" "I panicked," he said. "I was scared. I was stupid. I was ambitious. I thought I had to choose business or love, and I chose wrong." "You didn't just choose wrong," I said. "You didn't even hesitate." "I did," he whispered. 4 days. Weeks. I fell apart. You just didn't see it. Because you didn't let me see anything." I shot back. "You just said you needed space and disappeared." He took a trembling breath. I regret it. Every day. I lost the deal anyway. Everything fell apart. Jonas played me. He played both of us. And now you want what? I asked. Forgiveness. No, he said. Just a chance to explain. A chance to. To what? I snapped. Fix me? Fix us? He looked at me with so much pain it made me sick. I just want you back. The snow felt louder than his voice. I can't, I whispered. Not right now. His face crumpled. Does that mean never? It means I don't know, I said. I'm not ready to forgive you. Maybe I never will. Maybe time will change something. Maybe it won't. He stepped forward, but I stepped back. The cold out here, I said, it's still warmer than what I feel inside when I think of what you did. He closed his eyes. I turned away, the snow crunching under my feet like a door closing. Please, he whispered behind me. Don't go. But I kept walking, because if I stopped, I knew I might break apart in front of him. And I wasn't giving him that piece of me again. I walked back into the house only because Mara kept saying, you need to sit down before you fall. I didn't argue. My legs shook too much to pretend I was fine. The warmth of the dining room hit me first, then the thick silence that wrapped around every chair. My chest still felt tight, but I forced myself to breathe as I took a seat. Mara sat beside me and whispered, just eat something. You look pale. I'm fine, I muttered. You're not, she said softly. Father Gabriel always told me some pain needs company. I'm here. So eat. I picked up my spoon because she wouldn't stop staring. The dessert tasted sweet, but it felt heavy on my tongue. I tried to focus on chewing, on swallowing, on pretending the world hadn't cracked open under my feet. Then I heard Mr. Hale's voice, sharp and cold. So Jonas stole the deal anyway? My hand froze. Adrian didn't answer at first. I didn't look at him, but I felt the tension crawl across the table like smoke. Mr. Hale repeated, louder, he stole it anyway, didn't he? Yes, Adrian finally said, voice low. I didn't mean to react, but the spoon slipped from my fingers and hit the plate with a small metallic sound. Part of me felt sick. Another part felt, right. Justice, maybe. A twisted kind of justice. Mr. Hale continued, so you threw Elias away for nothing? My breath caught. Mara touched my arm under the table, grounding me. Adrian whispered, I thought I was protecting something important. You mean your pride, Mr. Hale said. And now you have neither pride nor the deal. I stared at the table. My heartbeat thudded in my ears. Hearing it laid out like that hurt, but there was also a strange calm settling over me. A shift. A quiet one, but real. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out quickly, grateful for the distraction. Sarah, are you okay? You left work without telling anyone. I'm worried. I typed back, I'm trying. I'll explain tomorrow. Before I could put my phone away, another message popped up. Read, say the word and I'll come punch Adrian. Not hard. Just enough to make you feel better. A small laugh escaped me. It surprised me so much I looked up, unsure it was real. Mara heard it and nudged me gently. See? You're still alive in there, she whispered. I didn't think I'd laugh again anytime soon, I admitted quietly. You will, she said. Pain doesn't get to keep you forever. I wanted to believe that. I tried to focus on my dessert again, but my mind drifted into quiet memories. The snowy mornings Adrian and I shared. His hands around mine, warming them. The stupid jokes he made when I cried after my mother died. The way he held me like I was the only thing that could keep him standing. The memories still hurt, but they didn't crush me the way they used to. Something inside me was shifting, breaking open but also rebuilding at the same time. It felt strange, like stepping into colder air and realizing I could still breathe. Mara whispered, flashbacks. Yeah, I said. But they're not winning tonight. I'm proud of you, she said softly. I swallowed hard. I don't know what I'm doing. You're surviving, she replied. That's enough. Across the table, Adrian finally spoke again, voice shaky. Elias. I know you can hear me. I just want to say. Mrs. Hale cut in sharply. You've said enough. Let him eat. Adrian's voice broke. I just need him to understand. I didn't look at him. Understand what? I asked quietly. That I wasn't worth the truth? That I wasn't worth fighting for? Everyone went still. Adrian whispered, you were worth everything. I was the one who wasn't enough. I pressed my nails into my palm, grounding myself. Then why did you choose him over me? I panicked, he said. I thought ambition made me strong. But losing you showed me how weak I really am. I let the words hang in the air. I don't hate you, I said honestly. But I can't forgive you. Not right now. Maybe not ever. He breathed in shakily. I'll wait. I'm not asking you to, I replied. He didn't answer. Mara leaned closer. You're doing the right thing. I don't know what the right thing is, I whispered. Listening to your own heart is the right thing, she said. Even if it's quiet. I exhaled slowly. My heart feels frozen. Then let it be frozen, she said. It'll thaw when it's ready. I pushed my dessert away and stood up. I need air. No one tried to stop me this time. As I walked toward the living room window, I caught Adrian's eyes on me. There was regret all over his face, heavy, desperate, almost painful to look at. But I didn't crumble. Not this time. For the first time in weeks, I felt the balance shift. Not toward him. Toward me. Toward something stronger inside my chest, something that hadn't died even when everything else had fallen apart. My phone buzzed again. Read, I mean it. One punch. I smiled, small, but real. Maybe I wasn't healed. Maybe I wasn't whole. But I wasn't powerless anymore. And that alone warmed me more than any fire in the Hale house ever could. Adrian caught my arm the second I stepped into the hallway. His grip wasn't tight, just desperate. I pulled back, but he stayed in front of me like he was afraid I'd disappear if he blinked. Elias, please, he whispered. Just give me a moment. I shook my head. What more could you possibly say that you haven't already ruined? He swallowed hard. I'm not trying to defend myself. I need you to hear the truth. The truth? I laughed weakly. You think that word still means anything coming from you? He flinched, and for a second I almost felt sorry. Almost. Let's talk somewhere private, he said. I don't want. Please, he whispered, voice breaking. I'm begging you. Something in me cracked, not enough to forgive him, but enough to let him talk. I walked into the small study room, the one filled with old books and silent air. Adrian closed the door behind us. I stayed near the window. He stayed near the bookshelf like he needed something to hold on to. He ran a trembling hand through his hair. I always loved you, he said. I never stopped. I didn't look at him. You loved me while leaving me? While choosing Jonas? While watching me break? He stepped forward, voice shaking. I was weak. That's the truth. I let fear control me. I let ambition blind me. Every day without you felt like punishment. Good, I said. Because every night felt like torture for me. He shut his eyes. I deserve that. No, I said coldly. You deserve to hear what you did. He opened his eyes slowly. Then tell me. I won't run. I took a breath that felt like swallowing ice. I waited for you. I waited even when you disappeared. I waited when you ignored every call. I waited when the silence became louder than anything I'd ever felt. I couldn't sleep most nights. I kept thinking I did something wrong. I blamed myself for months. I was alone, Adrian. Completely alone. He stepped closer, tears filling his eyes. Elias. Don't touch me, I snapped when he reached out. His hand hung in the air, then slowly fell to his side. He whispered, I'm sorry. You're sorry now, I said. But where was this when I needed you? Where was this when I cried myself sick? When I begged for answers? When I wondered if I wasn't enough for you? He covered his face with both hands. I destroyed the best thing I ever had. I know that. I wake up every day remembering it. I go to sleep knowing I might never fix it. I hate myself for what I did. Then hate yourself quietly, I said. I lived with the pain. Now you can live with the regret. He dropped his hands and stared at me with tear-stained eyes. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to repair what I destroyed. Even if you never take me back. Even if all you give me is silence. You don't get to decide the terms now, I said. You don't get to rewrite the story just because you regret the ending. His voice cracked. I'm not rewriting it. I'm trying to give you the truth I should have given from the start. Truth won't erase what you did. I know, he whispered. But I'm still going to try. Because you deserve everything I failed to give you. I felt my throat tighten. You're saying all the right things now. But where were these words when I was lying awake, staring at my ceiling, wondering why someone who claimed to love me could hurt me this deeply. He stepped forward again, but slower this time, like he didn't want to scare the moment away. I was drowning, he said. And instead of reaching for you, I pushed you under with me. I can't undo that. I can't erase it. But I will carry it. You should, I said. Because I still carry everything you left behind. He wiped at his eyes, breath unsteady. I thought I was making the right choice for my future. But my future was you. It was always you. And the moment I walked away, everything else turned to dust. You're not saying anything I don't already know, I murmured. But it doesn't change the fact that you broke me. I'll take the blame, he said softly. Every last piece of it. You should. He didn't argue. For a moment, we just stood there, me staring at the floor, him staring at me like he was trying to remember how to breathe. Then the door creaked. I looked up and saw Mrs. Hale standing there, half hidden in the hallway. Her eyes were wide, full of shock and something like heartbreak. She must have been listening the whole time. Adrian froze. Mom? She raised a hand, silencing him. I didn't know, she whispered to me. I didn't understand the depth of it. I swallowed hard. Most people don't. She nodded slowly, eyes flicking to her son. He was a fool. Worse than a fool. Adrian didn't defend himself. She whispered, Elias? I'm so sorry. I didn't know what to say. I just nodded because speaking felt impossible. Adrian looked back at me. Elias, can I ask one thing? What? Is there any part of you, he said, voice barely holding together, that still wants me someday? I inhaled sharply, feeling every bruise on my heart. I don't know, I said honestly. Maybe a small part. But the rest of me is tired. The rest of me is afraid. He closed his eyes. I'll wait through every fear. Stop waiting, I said gently. Just let me feel what I feel. He nodded slowly. I can do that. I stepped past him toward the door. My legs still shook, but it wasn't weakness this time. It was the weight of truth finally spoken. Mrs. Hale whispered as I passed, You're stronger than he ever was. Maybe I was. But strength didn't erase pain. It only helped me stand through it. And tonight, standing was enough. Christmas morning came with a quiet I wasn't used to. No noise from the kitchen, no cheerful music, no forced laughter drifting from the living room. Just the soft crackle of the Hale fireplace and the heavy warmth of a room too big for one person. I sat on the edge of the couch, holding a cup of untouched tea. My hands were cold even though the fire was glowing. I whispered to myself, I shouldn't be here. But I didn't move. Footsteps came from the hallway. I looked up and saw Mara poke her head in. You're awake, she said gently. He didn't sleep. I'm not talking to him right now, I murmured. I'm not asking you to. She walked closer. Father Gabriel is here. Mom invited him for Christmas breakfast. I blinked. Father Gabriel? Here. He wanted to talk to you, she said. Just, hear him out. Please? I sighed. Fine. But I'm not doing therapy before breakfast. She smiled. He's not that kind of priest. I stayed by the fire as she left. A few minutes later, Father Gabriel stepped in. His warm brown coat was still dusted with snow, and his eyes softened when he saw me. Merry Christmas, Elias, he said quietly. Merry Christmas, I said. Sorry you had to come into this mess. There is no mess, he replied, sitting in the chair across from me. Only people trying to find peace. I gave a humorless laugh. You might be in the wrong house then. No, he said. I'm exactly where I should be. I stared at the fire, unsure what to say. He waited a moment, then spoke again. Mara told me you've been carrying a very heavy burden. I shrugged. I don't know what she told you. Nothing specific, he assured. Only that you're hurting more than you show. My throat tightened. I'm fine. You don't have to be, he said gently. Not on Christmas. Not today. I exhaled slowly. So what? You came to give me a lecture about forgiveness? Because I don't think I'm ready. He shook his head. I didn't come to talk about forgiving Adrian. I looked up. I came to talk about forgiving yourself, he said softly. You've blamed yourself for what someone else chose. You've punished yourself for somebody else's weakness. You don't have to keep doing that. Those words hit harder than I expected. I swallowed. I don't think I know how to stop. You start by remembering you deserve love that doesn't break you, he said. And by letting go of guilt that was never yours. I stared at him, then whispered, I thought I wasn't enough for him. You were enough, he said. He wasn't enough for you. My chest tightened. I looked away quickly, blinking fast. It still hurts. It will, he said. But pain isn't supposed to lead your life. I let out a shaky breath. Then what is? Your heart, he said. Your hope. Your strength. I rubbed my hands together, feeling something shift inside me. I'm tired of hurting. Then it's time to stop letting your hurt choose for you. I looked at him, and for the first time in months, something inside me felt lighter. Before I could answer, there was a soft knock at the doorway. Adrian stood there. Eyes red. Shoulders tense. Breath trembling. Can I talk to him alone? He asked Father Gabriel. The priest nodded and rose slowly. I'll be in the kitchen, he said to me. Then he left quietly. Adrian stepped into the room but didn't come closer. He looked terrified. Elias. I know this is the worst time to talk, but I can't walk into Christmas pretending everything is fine. We're not pretending, I said. Nothing about this is fine. He nodded. You're right. For a moment, we both listened to the fire, the crackling loud in the silence. I want to ask you something, he finally said. And I need you to answer honestly. Not for me. For yourself. I braced myself. What? He took a shaky breath. Can you give me another chance? The room felt colder suddenly. I'm not expecting a yes, he added quickly. I'm not expecting anything. I want to know if there's even the smallest part of you that could try again someday. I stared at him, feeling my heartbeat in my throat. He continued quietly, I know I lost the right to ask. I know I broke everything. But I had to say it. I had to tell you that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to rebuild even a fraction of what I destroyed. I shook my head slowly. Adrian. He waited, eyes full of fear. I don't know if I can trust you again, I said, voice steady. I don't know if I can ever feel safe with you the way I used to. He closed his eyes like the word stabbed him. I understand. But, I added softly, I won't hate you anymore. His eyes opened. You won't. No, I whispered. I'm done letting pain run my life. I'm done carrying what you did like it's my fault. I won't keep hating you. He covered his mouth with his hand as his breath broke. Elias. I don't deserve that. I'm not giving it for you, I said. I'm giving it for me. He nodded slowly, tears falling freely. I'll take whatever you can give. Even if it's just this. It's all I have right now. It's enough, he whispered. We stood there, two people surrounded by the soft glow of the fire, but no longer lost in the dark. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was collapsing. I felt like I was choosing myself. And for today, that was more than enough. I stepped out of the Hale mansion with the cold air brushing against my face, and for the first time in days, I felt like I could breathe. Mara walked me to the steps, her arms wrapped tight around herself as if she was trying to keep the morning calm from slipping away. When she reached me, she opened her arms without hesitation, and I stepped into her warmth. I'm really glad you came, she whispered. You didn't have to, but you did. Thank you for giving all of us a chance to understand you better. Thank you for making me feel welcome, I said. It meant more than you know. She squeezed my shoulders. Come back when you're ready. Not for him, for yourself. I nodded, feeling the weight of her kindness settle into me. When Mara let go, I saw Adrian standing in the doorway. His hands were tucked into his pockets, his eyes red, his shoulders low. He looked like a man stripped of every excuse he once hid behind. Are you heading out now? He asked, his voice softer than I'd ever heard. Yeah, I said. Reed's coming to get me. He swallowed hard. I'm sorry. I know I've said it a lot, but I want you to hear it again. I'm sorry for everything. I know, I said, trying not to let the heaviness return. But right now, I just need space. I need time to figure out my own life. He nodded slowly, the acceptance settling into his eyes. I won't push. I promise. The snow around us was light, drifting instead of falling. I felt something shift inside me, something loosening. For once, the world didn't feel like it was pressing me into the ground. When Reed's car pulled up, he rolled the window down and grinned. Get in before you freeze into a sad snow statue. I couldn't help the small laugh that escaped me. I grabbed my bag, walked toward him, and glanced back only once. Adrian stood exactly where I left him, not reaching out, not begging, just watching, as if he finally understood that pain doesn't disappear simply because someone regrets causing it. I climbed into the car. Reed's warmth and ridiculous energy filled the space immediately. "So," he said, "on a scale of 1 to 10, how emotionally tragic was breakfast?" "About a 12, I said. He snorted. "Perfect. We'll balance it out with snacks and chaos. You need something sugary and stupid." I leaned back in the seat. "You're insufferable." "Yet you're smiling," he said. I was. And it felt strange, but good. Like the smile wasn't forced for once. While we drove, my phone buzzed. I opened the message expecting more emotional weight, but it was Sarah. "I'm proud of you," her text read. "Really proud. You didn't run away from the pain. You faced it." I exhaled slowly. My chest felt warm, tight in a good way. I typed nothing back, but the message stayed open on my screen like a small light in my hands. Reed peeked over. "Good news?" "Yeah," I said. "Actually, yeah." It hit me then. How many people had held on to me even when I couldn't hold on to myself? How many hands had reached for me when I felt too numb to notice? Maybe I wasn't as alone as I kept telling myself. Then another buzz. Another message. "Adrian. I'll earn your forgiveness, even if it takes years." I stared at the words. They didn't hurt the way I expected. They didn't fix anything either. They just existed, like an echo of something that used to control me. I locked my phone without replying. Reed glanced at me again. "You okay?" "I think so," I said. "For once, I think I actually am." Reed tapped the steering wheel lightly. "You know," he said, "you don't have to pretend everything's fine with me. If you want to scream, cry, complain, just do it. I've got tissues and a playlist for emotional disasters." I shook my head, but a smile tugged at me. "You're impossible." "Maybe," he said, "but someone has to remind you that you're more than what he put you through." His words settled quietly inside me. "I'm trying," I admitted. "Some days it feels like I'm rebuilding myself from nothing." "Then start small," he said. "Start with who you want to be this morning." I looked out the window, watching the soft snow drift by. Maybe healing wasn't dramatic. Maybe it was slow, steady, and private. Maybe choosing myself didn't have to be loud, just honest. "Today," I whispered, "I want to feel lighter." Reed nodded. "Then take one real breath. The rest will follow." And I let thought stay with me. The road ahead was clear, stretching out under the soft winter light. I watched the snow drift across the fields, not heavy, not sharp, just quiet. Something inside me whispered, steady and certain, a voice I hadn't heard in a long time. "This time," I said under my breath, "I choose me."